Happy New Year. Welcome back. Let's carry on with our series about Power BI from a business user's perspective. I want to have a look at something which is one of these things that I knew I was going to have to talk about at some point, and we kind of snuck it in quietly and was hoping to get away with it last week, but I thought, yeah, I really should talk about it, shouldn't I? So what we did last week was, as part of building this report for Jesmond Dene Parkrun, the summary report, we use an SVG. So what's an SVG? What on earth is this nonsense, and how do we put it into a chart? Hi, my name's Ross, the creator and founder of Geordie Consulting and Geordie Intelligence, the YouTube channel you're watching today. Last week we released the new update to what went on in Jesmond Dene Parkrun 2025. So that's kind of our introduction. Really the reasoning behind why we do the Parkrun dataset was to get that report. And it was just initially what went on around us. But one of the things I did was I put in an SVG. Okay, and what's an SVG is kind of step one, isn't it? What on earth is that? And then we've built something that puts a chart in somewhere. How do we do that? Okay, so let's have a look at that today, okay, and we'll go through and I'll show you it because it always looks a lot worse than it is. And then we might even throw it into a UDF, okay? Okay. Don't worry about all these terms. They'll be explained, we'll make sure we'll talk about it, and it'll make perfect sense to you, and you can decide if this is something you want to do for yourself or within your business. So, SVGs. Okay, first off, you might be saying, well, I don't know what an SVG is. What's he talking about? Never seen one. Makes no sense. What's this rubbish? SVGs are these things here. Okay, so let's zoom in a bit. Let's have a look. Okay, so these here are SVGs. Okay, SVG stands for Structured Vector Graphics. Okay, and these are different versions to the ones that end up in the published one, but this was just what I've got in my business user set. As you can imagine, I do a lot of work and I go through and kept tinkering and wanted it to be just right before we released it. But fundamentally, the code hasn't been updated. So these little charts here, the point was to put a spark line underneath these numbers, because the normal report has, well, what happened last week? What's our latest result? Vary to the one before it. And that's great, but we wanted to have the whole year summary, didn't we? So the idea was to kind of let's put those numbers across the whole year there, right? And it works. I think, you can kind of gauge you can see the trend. You got that spark line kind of feel to it. Okay, there's multiple different types of SVG you can put in. And an SVG, like a structured vector graphic. So it's really what it's doing is it's lines, and it's a really efficient way of drawing lines. So what we're actually doing is we're plotting a line drawing in Power BI. All we're doing, okay, with some shading on it. Where do we get all this stuff from is obviously going to be the big, I don't understand where, because I haven't just gone and hand coded it. So this is where we go, okay, for SVGs. Okay, Kerry Kolosco. And what you can see is there are tons of options here for you. And I went with this one here from memory, okay? Where we just went with an area sparkline with intercepts. I could have gone with something like this with the lollipops or with like the lines. Okay, but all you need to do is you click on one of these, for example. So we'll click on here. Okay, and then you've got the code here. You can go with fill to bottom, or you can go fill to intercept. Pretty sure I went fill to bottom. Just looking at this, this doesn't quite look the same. But anyway, so you copy the code. Okay, Control C, and then go over to your Power BI desktop. Create a new measure. Paste it in. Okay, and I will zoom in a bit here. Video demo. Okay, so you've got a top color and a bottom color. You can put in proper color codes, so as we hash and a 6-digit number, so the hex codes for a color, or you can use web safe HTML names, so like blue, magenta. they work. I know this is not the same one as I used because it wasn't blue and magenta in the one I used before, but the principle is the same, okay? You've then got some things here. So it'll say, well, what do you want to use for your fields? So your min, max fields for it. Okay, so for this, what I actually went with was, events, event. Okay. And max events, event. Sorry, I had a moment. Oh, which one of these? Okay. Then again, you want to put the same here. Okay, so you just replace the measure values that are in the column values for all these. Okay, so I'm just going to that there, and this is going to be summarize events, and let's say, what do we want? Dull finishers, volunteers. What do we have in participation? It's all hidden, isn't it? Unfortunately. All aggregations. Let's pick average age grade. Okay. So we'll say average age grade. So we don't need to tell it to calculate because we can handle the calculation. So that's what we're doing. Okay. Average age grade. Then again, we'll do this. Average age grade. So let's check through. What have we got? We've got this. Max X value. That's an extra. Oh, there we go. Right. Okay. There we go. And then lastly, we just need to put this in my events. Okay. Then it goes through and does the rest. So what we have here is this whole structure where we're building something which is going to certainly give it the line, build the line. Okay. And Kerry has kindly done all this work for us. So we're not having to go through and go, right, what do I need to do for this to work properly? And we can see here the definition of it. So we've got the clip path, blah, 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 blah. What's it going to do? Okay, don't worry. You don't need to understand it. What we're saying, though, is what we've built, and just understand that what we've built is a path that will allow it to produce that chart for us. Okay, so we've done something there. I'm just going to click OK. And you'll see we've now got video demo in our secondary measures because this is a secondary report, remember? Okay, so now if I bring this through, well, first thing, you need to do the one big thing here, which is to make it, it needs to be under here. It's not a number, it needs to be text. And then the format, it needs to be, my goodness me, I can't seem to pick things. Sorry, data category even, is image URL, okay, because we're building a URL. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put in a table visual. Okay, and then I will put this into the table. Let's put video demo into the table. I did not like that at all, did it? Say detail. Oh, we've still got a financial reference in there. Oh, has one value. Events. Location ID. Okay, so we need to only be looking at one location. Sorry, that was my bad for missing that. Okay, there's all the rest of the code that goes in to make it. Okay. Let's go back to here. So we've got the table. So we think, well, it's a bit small, isn't it? You know, I really could do it being a bit bigger. Now, it'd be easy to go, oh, well, it must be in the code that we need to do this. And this is one of those things with SVGs that is where they start to get complicated, we say. So SVGs are great because they scale. Okay, there's a whole idea of scaling with these. So what we actually need to do is to look at the formatting for the visual. Okay, so if we have a look at the format, and we can go under the image size, we can see we've got the height and the width there. So if we change this width to, let's say, 250, we suddenly get something better, don't we? This is more what we were looking for. And this is always kind of that balance. How do we get these sizes to properly work with what it is we're looking in and putting in? And you've got obviously the ratio, the aspect ratio that's locked in by the visual. But here we can see we've got this idea. We can get the average age grade for each event and they'll run through. And if we hover over it, we can see the resulting code that's been generated for this image URL. And it's quite a bit of a monster beast. It's not something I would like to write from scratch myself. But you can see quickly and easily I've built something, been able to insert that into a chart. And I think you can agree that tells what we wanted it to tell. It's a really good, compelling argument or indication of what's happened across the year. And you could say, well, having gradient charts was stupid, doing the color scheme was stupid, whatever. All those are potentially valid. It's just about saying what's the right thing for us to put in to make something effective for us to look at and to support our storytelling. And like all Spark clients, you're not going to be able to just look at it and go, all right, I'm going to actually follow along with it. That's part of the trade-off with it. So it is just an image that's there and static, and you'd probably want to turn off tooltip. So you get the picture, yeah? These are quite easy to put in, although they always seem confusing when you get started. The main thing is that don't try and do these from scratch, okay? If you go and you find these right sources, so like we say with Kerry Colosso, with Kerry Colosso, then they're there for you, aren't they? These SVG templates, which one do you need to use? Okay, so, I would definitely, before you do anything with SVGs, go through and have a look at her. I think these are the gradient sparklines, the ones I used. Go through and have a look at what she's got to offer, because you can build up and deal with your visuals. One thing I will say, okay, and I really want to repeat this, and we probably cannot repeat this enough, because this is one that we do see time and again as we're out working with clients, okay, is what's happening with the platform here. Okay, if we get rid of this. If I remove this, sorry, not hit searchlight, spotlight, okay, is what's going on with this is that this here is one of the new card visuals. Okay, so that's one visual, which is the point. Okay, I've seen lots of people going, oh, we're going to build this really cool KPI card, it's brilliant. And when you drill into it, it's 5 visuals. Okay, page load speed is directly impacted by the number of visuals that you have. It's a real shame if your beautiful, smooth, crisp, gorgeous dashboard takes 30 seconds to load. Okay, you've lost the audience, doesn't work. Card visuals, like the new modern card visual, for all it is still annoying to use. I hate using it. It does a great job, and it's one visual. So we've used it here 6 times. So that's 6 visuals on this page. We then got this 7, this 8, text box 9, picture 10. Okay, 10 visuals on the page. Power BI loads pages in chunks of 4 elements. Okay, so that's 3 page loads that are needed, or 3 element loads that would be needed for this to come through. Okay, that's the fact. If you go through and you say, well, we're going to put 30 or 40 visuals on a page, 10 plus cycles. So be aware of what's going on with these cycles as you're doing it. Yeah, because it's all, you need to be aware at each and every spot what's happening here, what's happening there. Likewise, if you're consuming report content and you're saying, well, this page taking ages to load, ask them, how many pages have you put together? What's on these pages? This is one of the reasons why the content we produce tends to only have a small number of visuals on it. We might have lots of pages. The aim is to have drill throughs going between the pages. If you think a tooltip visual, if we go back to our proper report pack and we go to Backgrounds report, we hover over here, this is taking time to load. this has 1, 2, 3, 4 visual elements on it. That tooltip itself, okay, this page has 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 visuals on it itself. 14 if you include this, 15, 16. 16, so that's 4 page load cycles to come through. And we can see the impact of that. If we go away, let's close this, and if we reopen this report page, okay, it's coming back, it's cached now, brilliant, okay? But if we open another page here, so if we open Newcastle, for example, you'll see pages take time to come through, bits of the elements take time to come through. You can look at Performance Analyzer for it, you can look at it, and you'll get told, go through, make sure this is this. Yes, 100%, okay, go through, make sure that your visuals are quick to load. Understand things like map visuals are always slow to load. There's no yet to see a decent way that we can make map visuals super quick. Okay, in some ways you can do it if you start to use not map visuals, like the shape map visual. You can get that to load quite quickly if you have a small number of shapes, but that's not going to help here, is it? Okay, here we need a map. We could put a scatter plot on and no background, but that won't help. So the map takes time to load. Okay, these are realities. So it's always going to be the slowest one to load on the page, but the rest of the stuff comes through pretty quickly. And that comes down to really what it is you put on the page, doesn't it? Everything is about think. Does this belong on the page? Is this adding value to this page? Is this a single use case page? Multi-use case pages where you build pages that have everything in one do not work in Power BI, okay? Because you're loading content that the audience isn't interested in. It's distracting that way, and it means, well, it's going to be slower to load. If you can go through and say, right, we're going to do this, but do it with 3 pages with a dashboard that has the top tier number on the top, and they drill down to the right page when they need it, you see it will make a big difference to everybody. Okay, so think about your audience actions and how you're going to explore it. From your side as a consumer, be aware, when you get somebody produces a dashboard and it has only 2 or 3 reasons, why have I got to drill down? Why have I got to do this? Why have I got to... Because 9 times out of 10, you're not wanting all the detail. You're wanting top level numbers, and you might drill it. What's happened over there? What's happened there? That's what the drill functionality does, while also making sure that your page isn't overloaded with data. Because if it's overloaded with data, people don't understand it. If nobody understands what's going on, you've got an issue. And again, data storytelling, you'll say, right, okay, we're in Newcastle today. Great. What happened in Newcastle in 2025? Go to Newcastle. Well, I want to see it in Newcastle. Clicking the wrong things. I want to see 2025. So let's go down to 2025. Show me Newcastle in 2025. Brilliant. I can see it. Okay, I can see Jesmond Dene. Ooh, interesting. I can see Town Moor. Ooh, interesting. Leazes Park. Ooh, interesting. We can get that picture, can't we? We can see what's happening. Where are we going with these numbers over time so that we can understand, really, where we're going? And that's the whole point, isn't it? That's the goal of what data storytelling is all about. That we should be able to say, okay, I can come through here. I can go in. I can see, right, here's Town Moor. So let's build a UDF. Now, this is sort of thing, the scenario we're going to go through. Okay, I don't have admin access to everything, do I? But I can be given access to, here's our source file. So I can't publish it. I can't even necessarily refresh it because I don't have access to the data set. So I can hit refresh, for example. I don't have access. I need to be able to sign into this. Okay. I could, of course, sign in. I do have rights to it, but I'm going to say pretend I don't. Right? Actually, I might not have access to it, thinking about where they are. But the key thing here is that I can build something based on it. So from a business perspective, we could say, right, these are the source materials that we've used. These are available to people to build if they want to. Obviously, some data sets, no, we cannot give you access to them, so we would need to restrict those. But the point here is that in theory, you can do this. Okay, so what we've got here is this is our parent master file that we've got, as it were. Everything's there. We've still got some report pages in it because it's useful when we want to do some testing, but they're not there for much. So what I was going to do was say, right, we had our UDFs, didn't we, that we used in our annual report. We could put them here, couldn't we? So we could put them, let's say our top level one here, say, like, let's put the UDFs in, okay? And the issue we've got is, if you were paying attention or if you follow me, of course, those were secondary reports we built them in. So we don't have them here, okay? They're not here. So step one would always be, well, we need to get those, don't we? And we now need to bring them through. So what's the easiest way to do that? Honestly, copying and pasting works really well. But what I thought is, we could use this as an example of when we need to discuss what is a UDF, okay? What is a user-defined function, and what's the hype about UDFs really all about? So let's put in a UDF for this and then see, right, okay, this is what's happening. This is what it means. This is what I need to do to get it to work. Yeah? Excellent. Let's zoom back out of here. All right. Firstly, you need to go down to your options and settings, options, and check preview features. So you still need to enable them as a preview feature, and I'm just checking because I haven't been, obviously I might not have this enabled because I'm still just an old person. I do have them enabled, as you can see. So I've got this DAX user-defined function. I was obviously kind of thinking about this. Okay. So we have the capability in here to do it. The next thing is going to be saying, well, what function do I want to put in? So we need to get our source. This would be where we would copy and paste it through. Okay, so I'm going to go File, Open the export version of this. Right? And what we see here is the measures that are written when this loads. Okay, so we've got secondary, and you can see in secondary there's a lot more here. Okay, and this is one of the things we always say. If you write measures in a thin report or in a secondary report, okay, place them here. Okay, if you place them there, it makes life so much easier for you. Because when you come back, oh, well, that was really good. And people go, well, where did that come from? Where did that come from? And you don't go, oh, it's in secondary. We know that hasn't been promoted into the main master model file. Okay, so we've got our master model, we've got secondary report content. So what we can do here is we can see we've got these three measures, because we've had to write three measures for them, which, to be fair, we probably would have to write three measures for these at all times. But we can simplify it. Because, of course, if we click on these, we can see they're quite lengthy, aren't they? Okay, so I'm going to Control A, Control C. Boom, simple. Okay, that was quite easy, wasn't it? So what we now need to do is let's go back to our model here. And under DAX, oh, we're going to do, oh no, I don't want to turn this. Okay, this is where the magic happens. Let's see, I can zoom in on this, can't I? So I can zoom out over here, right, zoom in here. Okay, because what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to define, double check my syntax, yeah, define function, let's give it a name, underscore fn, just, I don't know, name conventions you want. So we've got underscore fn, just so we know it's a function, and then it's going to be area spark. Okay, so we've got the function's name. Now, equals, this is where the interesting bits happen. Okay, because we need to provide it with some parameters, and we can provide parameters in two flavors. Okay, we can provide values, which is kind of like variables where it's evaluating, and that's the end result of what you have, or we can provide it with something that needs to, an expression that needs to be evaluated within the context of the function. Okay, which is what we're going to do for some of these. Okay, so what we end up with for this is we're going to have what do you call this, right? Underscore line, sorry, open brackets, line. Oh, not that, sorry. Okay, so here we go. So this is going to be an expression. Okay, so we're going to have the line, which is an expression. Okay, then we're going to have min, which is going to be a val underscore max, which is going to be a val as well. Okay, so we're doing this min max because we've got the ability, haven't we, to put in the colors that we want. Okay, so min max colors, brilliant, yeah, perfect. Okay, and then this needs and that. I'm going to paste that in, and I go, oh, I don't like this. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to here. Okay, we can see obviously it's measure derived from stuff by Coulson. Never said it doesn't. Okay, go to her stuff, brilliant. What we can now see is we've got in here, we've got these where we need to bring these through. So we've got event date, which is, that's potentially we need that, don't we? So we could put in a min and a max date, couldn't we? We could. Don't need anything. We can leave those as event date because the context of this being event date, that might be what we're always going to use this against, but you could make this dynamic. So we'll leave this for now and we'll see. So for these bits, this is where I was saying we're going to put these as the underscore line. Okay, and here underscore line. Okay, so it'll always be based on events, min, max date for events. Okay, it could be event date, could be event number, but we'll leave it there because it does all sorts of things with it. Okay. Again, line. An event location ID. So we've got there's locks on there. So potentially we could do that. So again, we could put some sort of a true, false Boolean test for that. Okay, for that has one value. And again, this is that first pass. This is where I'm saying, well, this works roughly. Okay, so we've got this. So let's update the model with changes. So how are we going to test this? That's going to be the next question. So the only real way to test something like this is going to be to actually put it in place because we've got things like has one value for here. And we need to also make sure that the output that's coming back, the bit the system knows to expect as this is going to be a sparkline or an image URL. So what we can do is we can come to here. Okay, so we'll go back to, let's go back to here. Again, it needs to be on, it's going to be on an event summary, so it needs to be on a single event like here. And what we can do is we can say, right, let's pick here, and I'm just going to put these in secondary for now. Okay, I will move them once we know it works. I'm just putting it in secondary just for now as a temporary measure. This is going to be test spark equals underscore, what was it, underscore line spark. And then we're going to have all finishers blue, red, okay, for the colors for it. That's kind of sorts of things that we're trying to do. Okay, probably have to say that's text. That's probably where I've done wrong with that, actually, think about it. But we can have a look-see with that. I come up with that. What does that look like? So we've got now here test spark. So we click here, data category. It is text and it is going to be image URL. It's great, it knows it's text. So let's bring that onto the page. Let's just click on it. Oh, not there. Okay, so we've got code, which is the right thing. That's what we wanted. It's brought it through as that, which doesn't show. So we need to change that to a table, and we can see here we go. We've got an SVG. So that's worked for us. Okay, the next thing will be around putting it together and putting in places. In terms of the colors that I've used, they're just web safe colors. You can check them. You can put hex codes in there, so hashtag then the hex code for it. You can do all those kind of things that you need to do. So what I'll do is I'm going to delete that now. Okay, I'm going to delete this test spark. Okay, because what we'll do is we'll put these into participation properly. So I'm going to go to model view just because it's easier to do those here. Okay, and I'm going to come through here. I'm going to say let's add a new measure. And let's zoom in. Well, not there. Let's zoom in here. Okay. Spark all finishes equals function area spark all finishes. Should we stay with blue and red? I think so. Let's go with blue and red. Or let's go to, tell you what, let's go grey and blue. Okay. Close brackets. And then what I want to do is I'm going to put this, I'm going to create a new one. Oh, sorry. New measure. This is going to be spark. Registered finishes. It's going to equal function spark. Registered finishes. I'm going to go, tell you what, let's go with the colors from our theme, shall we? I can't remember where they are. Just got to see on red. Just say one. Okay, and then lastly, we want to go, let's go to, let's create another new measure. This is going to be spark. Volunteers equals function spark. Volunteers, I think it's volunteers. You can, of course, change these to your heart's content. Not even sure smoke blue's a proper colour. I think it is here. Okay, so we've got 3 spark measures. So I'm going to select all 3. 1, 2, 3. What we're going to do is we're going to say, well, these are going to be all image URL. And we're going to place all of these into spark lines. Okay, so we put them all in a separate folder. Simple so far, right? Next, well, let's go back to here. So we've got this event summary. So we've got here. Now, what we can do is we can say, right, we want to change this because what we want to do is we want to put an image into this instead of what we've got at the moment. So we can see here. So we've got image. For finishes, image on. This is going to be enter a URL. The image URL for this is going to be under participation, spark lines. Could just start typing spark, couldn't I? All finishes, click OK. You can see we have a spark line there. All right. And again, we need to look and see, right, how are we going to spread these out properly? Okay, because I think some of these are definitely not great. Should we put this? And background, I want to pattern the background to that. So we've got that. So what we need to do is we've got the reference labels, finishes. We're going to say, yeah, get rid of that. So now we have, here's the image here. Bear in mind, this is every single year. So it's that chart effectively that we've got. Okay, we'll do the same for the all finishes. We'll do the same for the volunteers. Okay, let's do that now. Okay, so for the all finishes, remove that. For the volunteers, we'll remove that. For here, we're then going to say, right, let's put in the image. registered finishers, image URL, browse, we want Spark, registered finishers. Could have sworn I chose a different color for that. I don't think those colors were working properly. And then let's do the same for here. Did I put min and max in those colors? I don't know if I did. We'll have to go and check, won't we? We can do that, can't we? So then we come through here, we've got volunteers. So let's go in here with the volunteers. You guys should have told me I didn't do that properly. Image, enter URL. It's always good, you guys can see I've done these things badly. Volunteers. Okay, so we can see all the different things here. Okay, so let's go back through. Let's check what we need to do with this. Why is that big gap there? That's an interesting one. I'm not convinced these work properly. Let's go back to here so we can see. Let's come up towards the top. No, yeah, color here. Smoke blue, steel blue, sorry, red. So here, what we want to do is say this is going to be min. Oh. Doing that, and then we will do the same here. And max. And that. Okay. So then we can update the model. Yes, I'm sure. Come back to here. We see different colors now. All right. So we can see this. All this works. It brings it all through. If we switch this, let's expand this. Let's look just at, say, 2025. See, we get a better picture now of what's happened. Okay, so we can piece together what we need this to look like. We can put these in, and you can do that dynamically. And you saw we just changed those, put in parameters, and we can change the colors. We can do lots with this. There's more we can always do. Okay, so take your time, understand what goes on with UDFs, and make sure that you put them in. Now I've got this, you're going to say, well, what do we do? How do we make this go live? Which would be the big question. So because I don't have publication rights, what I would need to do would be to come here, copy this, would be the simplest thing, submit my change request. This is the function we want to see added. Here are some things for it. I could potentially include this file and say to the developers, look, this is what we've done. Can you do it? Because I don't necessarily know where the developers are in terms of, are they working on an update right now separately? Now, being able to paste this in is simple, it's easy. And this is still one of those areas that Power BI does not do well. Microsoft are looking at stuff, but like anything, multiple developers working on one set of scripts is a nightmare. Okay, it really is. That's why GitHub is so important, where you can check out, you can look at it, and then it can merge in the changes together. Potentially we can do it with Power BI, and there's ways coming through with it, and we're now looking at how we can separate and run Power BI projects where you have the capabilities in GitHub against the script side or the model.bim side of Power BI. That works to an extent. Okay, it's always to an extent. The same issues that you get with any script development. Two people working in the same area of a script, who wins? So definitely want to manage these things coming through. DevOps is fine to an extent, but when you end up with a small area, which you have here, right, we're both potentially operating in the participation table, we've got a challenge, and we're going to struggle, even with the best DevOps processes we've got, and especially we say we're going to expand the business. Anyone could put these in. So from a business user perspective, I'd say build the function. You've got the function built here. We can show we've done what we want. We might go further and say, well, we want to put in the event min and max date, which we can do. We can calculate those event min and max dates. They are calculated themselves in here based on a context. Is that going to work for us or not? these are things that you can think through and work on. But it could well be event min and max date are going to be what we should lock this to. The min and max date. I chose date because potentially we might want this running against multiple events. We do still have the if one value where if it's more than one, it's going to get rid of it. We could remove that. We could do more testing. But this is a really easy way I can do it. And I can build all this. All I need to do then at the end is simply say, right, I'm going to copy this, give it to them, or it can even go down to here, into the TMDL. But you'll see TMDL, if we bring through, there's the TMDL for it. There's not a huge amount of difference to it. You could put that in, send it to them and say, right, what we're going to do, approve it, don't approve it. That's my suggestion. You can choose to do differently. What do you reckon? Okay. SVGs do not worry, is what I would say. Okay, structured queries, the structured vector graphics that are SVGs, they are by nature, they're complicated. It's basically, what do I do with a line? Go B, 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 like that. And then what you've got is a rule below here, color it in a particular way. That's kind of what's happening. But it's how do I construct that line or that structure is a problem. The website that Kerry's put together is awesome. It does that. You can find other websites or other people who've got them. Kerry's is one that I've used before and I will continue to use, I'm sure, the UDF, which is a user-defined function. And these user-defined functions, it's one of those things where they're getting a lot of press at the moment, and there are value adds from them. And there are things where I've used them. I've used them already professionally, even though they're still in preview. They are worth knowing about, and they are expanding, and they are definitely the direction that Power BI is going. So you're not going to waste time going, I'm going down this route, and then they're going to go, yeah, we're not doing it. But they're not as easy to wrap your head around, I think, as they can appear. And there's a lot of the demos they make like, oh, it's dead easy. So let me know down below if you think we should do anything else with this. Where do you want us to go? Okay, because we are probably getting towards the end of this business users Power BI. I'm kind of tempted to say, well, let's go. We've done obviously back like Power BI for beginners, Power BI 101. Do we need to do another Power BI 101 session? I'm not sure. I don't know. Let me know down below if you think that would be of benefit to you. We've also obviously could do we've both just doing this one, aren't we, where we're doing Power BI from a business user perspective, where I've used our business user account. Don't have admin accounts on this device. I don't have admin access to our data sets, deliberately set up to be more like a user. God, that sounds terrible. More like you. Okay. And I'll be honest, I've learned an awful lot doing it because I'm so used to I've got admin. And all the work I do, I've got admin. And here I'm going, oh, okay, I need to do this. I need to put this together for this demo. Oh, yeah, okay. And I'm going back and forth and doing things, which is great. And I think is making me, or will make me, a better consultant. And I'm always willing to learn. I think that's really important. So it's the next step that we do kind of that intermediate level that kind of, well, I've not quite Power BI 101, because if you're a business user, well, I want to start this. Maybe you could go down the Power BI 101 route. Do we do kind of that? I've kind of roughly done a few things. What can I do next? Do we do a proper upgrade? Because I mean, I'll be honest with you, the Park Run data set, it must be about to break. Parkrun have put enough stuff in the press lately to say they're doing stuff. There's big updates coming, big change. Are they going to break it? And the explanation is, yeah, they will break it. And I'd love to document the fixing for it and the upgrade as part of one of these things, because it's, there's lots of stuff I need to do. It's going to be like all hands to the pumps, and we'll fix it. It won't be a problem, but it's just a case of saying there's potentially lots of information there, because this happens in the real world, doesn't it? When you've got a business, we have this platform, we've got to do this upgrade. Great. Well, what's going to work? What's not going to work? You saw it last week when we did the upgrade of the semantic model and had to remap the secondary report to it. But we mapped those through. So when your source system has an upgrade, what do you do with that? And that's a big reason why we say things like don't bring everything straight into the semantic model. Use data flows so you've got that layer of separation. Okay, that layer of separation can be a real lifesaver sometimes when things go wrong, because one of the things that data flows do is they store the table. Because they store the table, if it stops working, you still have that table of data. So worst case scenario, you've got, well, okay, we've got some. If you start going through and tinkering with other stuff, you potentially lose it. So if that happens, what I say is create a second data flow and work through what do we need to do to get it to work. When it does work, you can then clone it, or you can do whatever you need to do. You can copy and paste between them. But it's clear, and there's proper ways of protecting what you've done. Yeah? Okay. Similar things are going to be true if you got through the enterprise tiers through into Fabric or even further. But it doesn't work if you've got everything in one semantic model, because yes, the semantic model will protect it, but as soon as you go in to update that and then refresh the model once it's not working, it either fails, which that doesn't help me, or you lose all the data, which is a problem. So don't just push everything into it. That's why we say separate your data, have your models, and then have your report content in 3 different workspace buckets. Okay, works really well. For now, though, I'm going to stop ranting. Okay, please like and subscribe. Tell us what we're doing right. Tell us what we're doing wrong. I hate the way he rants on at the end of these things. For now, though, stay safe. Take care. Ta-da.